Evening. How are we all? This little podcast tonight is just going to be me on my own again. Me and Laura had plans to record a really cool episode this week, in the week, but she's been real busy with work and I've been busy with a million and one things, and we've just not got round to doing it, so apologies, but we are going to do it on Sunday. I think I'm going to go meet her in the Black Sheep Brewery, which will be a little blast from the past. We used to be forever going there for a pint, sneaking off to pick up more cans, but basically we were just there for a beer, so it'll be nice to go there and see the guys over in Massam. Just wanted to do a little quick podcast today just to keep the momentum going. We're dead grateful for those of you that have listened and subscribed and liked and followed and all that jazz. We're on Spotify, we're on YouTube. Obviously I post the little clips on like TikTok and Instagram and stuff as well, so we massively appreciate the following everywhere that we have got it, and please do share the podcast with your friends, because you know it's the way the world's going at the moment. Everybody's got to have a podcast because it's the only way that you're going to make anything of yourself, isn't it? I'm only joking, but we do massively appreciate all the love and support and all of that, and we appreciate people just wanting to listen to what we've got to say, because part of our charm has been all along the nonsense that we get up to outside of just cutting tops off beer cans and turning them into candles, because that's the tiniest bit of what we do, even though we are beer candles. I wanted to record a podcast today because it's also just turned a month since I decided to break my my sobriety, my curfew as it were. I did it for good reason, so for those of you that haven't been following us or didn't see it at the time, I think it's one of our most liked posts and stuff in the last 6 months or so anyway, is the video that I put on when I was confessing to the fact that I'd broken my sobriety. It was with good reason. It was 2 days before my 30th birthday. I was going out for dinner with my mum and dad, and I really, really, really wanted a pint. There was just something about the day. There was something about the being faced with your own mortality that turning 30 gives you, that made me just go, fuck it, I'm doing it anyway, because life's too short. Me and Laura had a chat in the week and she was like, mate, you've already done amazing. 180 odd days is a solid achievement, and it's, to be totally honest, it's a lot further than I thought that I would get. And yeah, I'm not somebody that struggled with alcohol prior to this. I just, obviously, doing a job like this and running a business like this involves a lot of drinking, a lot of networking, that involves a lot of pints. And I just wanted to set it as a bit of a challenge for myself, because like I said, when I first sort of announced it, I mean, I'm a rugby girl. I've been drinking since I was 14, 15. It's just part of the culture. And there's never been an extended period of time that I hadn't drank for, so not drinking for 187 days, from December the 26th till July the 1st, I think it was. It was mad for me, and I did massively see the benefits of it, and I have definitely changed my own relationship with alcohol off the back of it. I've gone from being someone that would have a drink because it's Wednesday and I'm bored, or I'd have a drink because I've decided that I'm going to walk into town because I need to get something, and on my way home there's a pub, so I'll have a pint on my way back. I'm not doing that anymore. That's not something that I'm participating in. If I'm having a drink, sorry about this. For those of you that aren't watching me and are just listening to me, please go over to my YouTube and just have a little look at what's going on in this video, because I'm cradling a sleepy baby pug like she's a human baby, and after last week's performance I'm very grateful of it, because she was such a little bitch that the fact that she's being cute tonight is making it all worthwhile. Oh, and she's just farted. You stink. You've got the smelliest bum in the world. So yeah, it's been a month since I decided to break my sobriety, since I decided to get back on the sauce, as it were, and all them cliches. And I think in that month I've drank a handful of times. It's always been with a reason. It's always been because I'm visiting mates. Me and Laura and a couple of the girls went out for beers in Leeds about a fortnight ago, which was unreal. We had an amazing time and such a good night, and it was so worth the few pints that we had on the night. I say a few pints, it was probably a bit more than that. Last weekend I went and met some of the old rugby girls. I'm saying old because I've known you for a long time, not because she's our old. I mean, I was the youngest there by a good chunk, but that's what I like. And we had a lovely time, a couple of drinks in Middlesbrough, and then back to Snooky's house for some pints. So it was lovely to catch up with a couple of girls that I've known for a very, very long time, for all the time of being an adult, basically, because I started playing over at Darlington when I was about 18 and a half, 19, I think. So yeah, it was lovely to catch up with them and talk about some of our previous bad behaviours and rugby tours and the things that you can't talk about in front of normal people. So it was a lovely time. And that's, I think, the biggest learning that I've took away from getting a bit of balance back into my life. I want to view it as a positive thing rather than a negative thing. Me deciding to have a drink comes with so many more positives than me not drinking had on my life. I felt a little bit healthier, I will 100% admit that. I was a little bit sharper on occasions, but I was also, I'll be totally honest, a little bit just more melancholic and depressed with life, because I felt like I didn't have that, oh yeah, let's go for a pint type of scenario. And, you know, the whole sober crowd will preach that is a big problem, but for somebody that isn't actually, you know, an alcoholic or struggling with alcohol, I think it was less that and more just an excuse to see your mates. Sometimes it's really nice to go out for a pint, and it is the lubricant. Like I said on that last video, it's not about the beers, it's about the people, and having a beer is sometimes the thing that just brings the people together. So I'm not going to pay too much more mind to it, and you know, I'm still going to be a massive lover of a lot of the good things about some of the sober movement. There's some excellent brands out there like Mash Gang. I know I've mentioned them a couple of times, but the guys over there that are running that are inspirational in terms of running a business, but they're also inspirational in terms of the whole sober side of the journey as well. They're brewing really, really cool beers in really cool cans, sort of pushing the boundaries and pushing the barriers a little bit of what alcohol-free beers can be, making them enjoyable to drink. And if I walked into a bar and there's a choice of, I don't know, a pint of shitty Heineken or a pint of Mash Gang, like non-alcoholic, I would have the Mash Gang all day long. I would pick a pint of or trying a Mash Gang beer over trying the majority of your cheap, usual lagery stuff. So I think I'm not a convert to the sober lifestyle. I am sort of an ally. I feel like that's a word that people throw about these days, but I would say that that's what I am. Anybody that is struggling with alcohol consumption, I'm by no means a font of knowledge, but I do have a little bit of experience of going sober for 186 and a half days, and if there's anything that I could help with that, then by all means reach out. But equally, people who have decided to quit drinking, who might be having a hard time thinking, oh, I don't want to seem like a hypocrite, I don't want to go back on my word, but I really want a pint, and having a pint's not going to be detrimental to you in any way. Go and have a pint, because life's too short, isn't it? We all are addicted to everything all the time. Social media, sugar, all of it. And I know it's all bad, but we're only on this planet for 80 years anyway. Unless you watch that most recent Stephen Bartlett podcast with that absolute weapon on that reckons he's going to live till he's 200. I've never seen out like that in my life. Even if you could live to 200, who would want to? Who wants to live in a 200-year-old body? Not me. This one's enough at 30. But yeah, don't worry about being a hypocrite. If you want to have a drink, and having a drink's not going to harm you, and you can fit that into a balanced and healthy lifestyle, then go and do it, because it's what life's all about, isn't it? Having a good time. When I was not drinking, I was doing things that were just as unhealthy. I mean, I developed a addiction to mint aeros, and that's not good. I was saying this to Darryl the other day. One of them big mint aero bars, about 650 calories. A pint of lager, 300 at worst. Most of them are not even anything like that these days. So 2 pints or a bar of mint aero, easy peasy. And I have actually, since starting drinking again, lost weight. So, you know, madness. The other thing that I wanted to talk to you about is just a little social observation that I've made this week. So in the process of me just trying to get get the wheels in motion with as much beer candle stuff as possible. I was thinking of different ways to sort of branch out and things that I maybe wasn't utilising so well. TikTok's a constant battle because I feel like I'm just a bit too old to keep up with the hype of TikTok and the constant posting. Instagram is definitely more our bag, but you know, I do post on TikTok when I can remember. But then I got a notification the other day of something to do with LinkedIn, and I was thinking, bloody hell, I've not looked at LinkedIn for at least a year. I left my job in sales sort of back end of last year because I was just frankly not enjoying it. As you can tell, sales is something that I'm sort of semi okay at because I'm not so bad at talking to people and talking about myself and pushing things, but give me something to do that I don't care about and I'm the least motivated person in the world. So it wasn't the job, it was 100% me. I was the problem. Like Taylor Swift says, it's definitely me, I'm the problem. But I hadn't been on LinkedIn since probably about this time last year. Opened it to just a barrage of absolute drivel and nonsense, you know, the sanctimonious posts giving it the whole, wake up at 4 o'clock every morning and then I run 5,000 miles to work and I feed 25 homeless people on the way there, but then tell them that they shouldn't be homeless, it's their own fault, they've just not listened to enough Andrew Tate podcasts. And I hate it. I hate every bit of it. It is absolute garbage. So I don't really know why I went on it other than to make myself annoyed, because making myself annoyed is one of my favourite pastimes, giving myself something to rant about. But yeah, I just wanted to make a little observation about it. Like, it is the most ball baggy, nosy place in the world, isn't it? I have never seen out like it. And within sort of 5 minutes of opening it, and I went on and changed all my details because I thought, for one, on my LinkedIn picture, I had like sort of nipple length blonde curly hair. I was dressed all smart, wearing a little flowery shirt and a jacket. And I thought, if somebody sees that and sees me now, I'm going to get done for identity theft. I had to take a picture of my passport and put it into to some business loan thing that we're submitting at the moment the other day. And I thought, there is absolutely no way that anyone's going to take this seriously because I don't even look like the same person anymore. So I went on to predominantly change that and to take my old employer off because I thought, I don't really want that to still be on there anymore. I'm sure they wouldn't want that either. But yeah, put all Beer Candles details in, thought, sod it, I'll go through and follow a load of cool people that I actually do like. So the guys from Mash Gang, they got a follow. There's a guy who I'm obsessed with at the moment. For any of you that remember Instagram back in the old days, there was a business called Abandon Ship Apparel. So cool. They used to do like the sickest t-shirts and clothes and that. And the guy Rich, who was the founder of Abandon Ship, he's on there. He's got his own business now called Disaster, I think it's called. But I've been like watching his work closely this past couple of weeks, and he's mint. He does some solid things that are going to be mint for kind of taking a little bit of inspiration from for the Beer Candles. So I was kind of grateful to have gone on LinkedIn and had a look, because there is some people on there that aren't ball bags. There's a guy on there as well called Dan Kelsall who has his own marketing like agency, and they basically do marketing for people that don't believe all the LinkedIn nonsense, and he puts some cool things up as well. So it's worth it from that point of view. But yeah, within 2 minutes of being on there, straight away message in the inbox, would you like a job working as an appointment setter, hundreds of emojis in it. I think I put a screenshot of it on our threads because it's just tragic. Like, I don't know what goes through people's heads when they post things on places like that. Everybody's taking themselves too seriously. But then again, maybe I'm the problem because maybe I'm not taking myself seriously enough. But it's worth a look for a laugh, I suppose. But I just wanted to say, LinkedIn, what a load of garbage. The next thing that I wanted to talk to you about today, something else that wound me up from this past week. Rishi Sunak and his bloody pint. Have any of you seen this? I hope you have. Photo that was going around social media. Rishi Sunak at a beer festival. I don't know whether it was up in like Richmond, where he's the MP for, or where it was, but he was at a beer festival somewhere, pulling a pint of beer and there's a girl behind him staring at him, like rolling her eyes. She obviously thinks that he's a fucking twat. And I mean, she's not wrong, is she? But the picture's been photoshopped to make the pint of hand pull that he was pulling look even worse than it was. To be fair to him, it wasn't actually that bad on the original photo, but the the photo's been edited by someone with real fast wit and fingers to get straight on Photoshop and sort the job out. To make it look like he's pulled the worst pint in the world. It looks like someone's just emptied all the drip trays and then put a load of squirty cream on top. It's an absolute terror pint. Like, if you got it somewhere, it will be going back immediately. And the Tories have actually gone to the effort of making sure that it gets the little fake news thing put under it on social media, because they don't want the Prime Minister of this country to be made out to be a terrible barman. He's a terrible fucking Prime Minister. We don't need to worry about anything else other than that, do we? Everything that's going on at this moment in time, and that's the type of shit that our government are doing. But yeah, that's a different story. But just if any of you have seen it, absolutely laughable. Off the back of that, we wanted to ask you another quick question. So we talked last week about what our favourite pint is, and there's going to be more on that in our podcast that we do together on Sunday. But have you got any absolute terrible pint stories? I've got one straight off the top of my head. Again, with the rugby girls, I'm sorry to keep name dropping you in here, guys, but I once had to drink a pint with a packet of cat food in it when I was on rugby tour in Belgium. I think I was given the pint to drink because I couldn't shut up. I think our captain was trying to make a speech, and I kept standing up and shouting. And this was the same rugby tour, and we were all dressed as mimes. And someone had just given me a pep talk about how I didn't always have to be the clown and the centre of attention, and maybe I should just behave myself and be a bit more sensible. To which I ended up stood on a table, I think, with wearing not my own clothes, that I'd come on on the night out wearing. I ended up having to swap clothes with a man from the Bank of England men's rugby team, and I then ended up stood on a table swinging my bra around my head, I think. And it was just after this that I was made to drink the pint of lager with a packet of cat food in. We're talking like the Whiskers jelly cat food that needs to be squeezed out the packet. It squeezed into a pint of lager and I drank it. I have no idea how I managed that. So if any of you have any terrible pint stories, we'd love to hear them as well. Obviously this is going up on Spotify as well as it's going up on YouTube. Guys on YouTube, if you want to drop us a message, go over to the Instagram and do it, or email us. It's beercandlesdarlow@gmail.com. Spotify, guys, there'll be a little question at the bottom of the pod, you know, when you scroll down. Just drop it in there if you've got any to tell us, because I am sure there's some terrible pint stories out there. One last little quick thing that I wanted to just briefly mention as well. I'm going to mention it when I sit down with Laura on Sunday as well, but we are going to start doing candle workshops. I had a brief chat with the chap that runs Dr. Inks in Darlington, so those of you that know Dr. Inks, we are going to do a candle workshop there. We still need to finalise a load of the details, and I'll be doing more posts and stuff about it in the run up to it, but just to sort of gauge interest, it's something that we're wanting to put out there. The candle making workshop obviously will provide all equipment, will provide all of the materials that are needed as well, so all you have to do is provide yourself, ideally bring a bit of fun and some banter with you. The whole purpose is that me and Laura will be there to do the candle making workshop ourselves. It'll be obviously cool because you'll get to make your own candle and take it away and whatnot. We'll have some candles there for you to buy and to take away and whatever and stuff as well, and possibly give you like little goodie bags and stuff once we've worked out the costings of it. And it'll also be like a little bit of an audience with me and Laura. I'm sure it'll be a lovely time, and we're wanting to do it in as many places as we can. I'm based down in Warrington these days. Laura's up in Harrogate, and obviously we still have real strong links to Darlington. I'm still back there every single week, so it'll probably be Darlington that we're doing the majority of these workshops in, just because that's where the majority of our kind of original OG followers and friends and family and that are. But if it's something that you're interested in, if you run a bar or a restaurant or want us to come and do a little pop-up, obviously we can come along, sell candles as well. That's something that we do all of the time. But if you're wanting specifically us to come and do workshops, then please drop us a message relatively quickly, because it is something that will start to fill up, and we won't have a huge amount of availability for it, because obviously Christmas, particularly November, December, we're always absolutely snowed under with trying to get stuff done. There isn't enough hours in the day. It was bad enough last year, and I think this year's set to be even more busy. So if you can let us know if you are interested in workshops, that would be fab. It doesn't have to be bars and restaurants, by the way. If you run like a flower shop, or you've got your own gift shop or whatever, we will obviously need access to power to be able to use the heaters to light the pans to melt the wax. But other than that, there's not a huge amount of requirement. We could do it outside as well at a push, as long as the electric's safe. So yeah, if it's something that you're interested in, drop us a message, because that would be pretty cool. But yeah, just wanted to say a massive thank you as well, because we put the first podcast out there, the first little video out there, probably about 3 weeks ago now, maybe actually only about a fortnight ago, to be fair. The video that me and Laura did together when we were down in Wakefield. We're wanting to keep the momentum up and keep going. That's why I've recorded this one tonight of me just ranting on about a load of nothing. Simply because we wanted to keep the momentum up and keep you guys engaged and listening and interested. We're going to do a podcast on Sunday that'll probably be a little bit longer, because I've got loads of different things that me and Laura want to talk about. So yeah, it's more so to say thank you tonight, and to give you something else to listen to whilst we're waiting for the video that me and Laura are going to record. And to just sort of put out a bit of feelers out there into the world. If you would like to come on the podcast, we would absolutely love that. If you want to come and talk to us about your favourite beer story, if you've got something to kind of pitch, something to promote, whatever. We're going to have one of our mates on in the coming weeks who is in a band, which is pretty cool. Her music was used in Killing Eve, so those of you that are Killing Eve fans, the little kiss scene at the end between Eve and Villanelle, her music was in the background, so go and check that out. They're called the Misties. Look for them on Spotify. But yeah, which is pretty cool, so we're going to be talking to them. I've got a few bits lined up to go on some other people's podcasts as well, to talk about beer candles, our journey, that sort of thing as well. So we'll be giving you the links to that when those become available as well. But if you want to come on the podcast, drop us a message. We're always happy to interview people. We basically want to just talk to you about anything, everything, life. It doesn't need to be out major. So yeah, get in touch. And that's about it, really. Keep liking, sharing, subscribing, all of them bits of jazz. I'll be posting this everywhere that you can think of, but mainly Spotify and YouTube. If you can go and follow us on both of those, that'd be awesome. Obviously, liking the videos and that helps as well. But dropping us a follow or a subscribe or whatever it's called on Spotify, and the same on YouTube, that'd be massively, massively helpful. And go and check out the website, because I've just updated it today with a load of candles. I'm going to an event in Wales on Tuesday, which is the Young Traders Regional Final. We couldn't attend the one up in Newcastle, again, because it was my 30th, not to go on about it. So we're attending the one down in Wales. It's somewhere near Llandudno, I believe. Obviously, with me being in Warrington now, it's just a little blip over the border. So I'm dead excited for that, to go and sell some candles to the people of Wales, because we've not been there as of yet. So keep an eye out for that sort of stuff as well. As I say, me and Laura are going to record a new podcast on Sunday. Go and do the liking, sharing, subscribing. Tell us your beer stories, best and worst. And go and check out the website, www.beercandles.co.uk, because I've put a load of new candles up on there. And drop us a message about anything else that you might have to talk about, anything that you want to ask us, and we'll see you next time. Peace out, guys. Have a good weekend, and we'll see you on Sunday.